Hi everyone and welcome. It's Tuesday, 2 o'clock. I'm Marcie Besecker and I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up. And we are going to be doing some fun coloring, some technique, and just a lot of fun crafting with our old and new projects. So welcome everybody. All right, looks like I am up and running on my phone and I can see that I am waiting for some comments. Make sure I can see everything okay. How is everybody today? It's a beautiful day here in Central California. It's sunny and pretty and I should be outside, but nope, I am crafting because I'm getting ready for my reveal sneak peek kind of class thing on Saturday. So I'm super excited about that. And I did get a new item that I forgot to order first time around. And so I'm going to show you these hand penned cards. You know, I'm almost thinking that the pansies I thought was going to be my #1 pre-order set. And I do love them. However, I love the hand penned. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that, but I'm going to share these with you so we can take a look. Please let me know where you're from, and if this is your first time, I would definitely love to hear from you. All right, let's try and open this. The plastics are really nice, a little bit of a thicker plastic, so it's not going to fall apart in shipping, which is nice. I probably could have taken these out a little nicer so I can keep them in the bag, but I'm going to put them inside one of my plastic cases, so we'll do that. Hi Linda, welcome. All right, so we know the comments are working. That's fantastic. Quick updates here. Again, Paper Pumpkin is going to be, it is available to purchase now. It is batter up. It's going to be cards. It's baseball. It's male theme. I love it. And I am a baseball mom, or I was for many years with my son through college, and he even played some league kind of stuff in the Army. So I'm a big baseball mom. And you're going to get bubble gum in a kit. Major League Baseball bubble gum is what they say. All right, don't forget my paper share. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the paper share. And show you kind of a couple of examples today of some great ideas for the paper share. My code, I'll show that to you in a bit. Just trying to roughly look over here. On my blog at the top, it says events and classes. That is where you will go to sign up for the paper share. So there's a form in there. You can go right in and share. Again, my host code's on the right side, always on my blog. It's always current. Even if it's the end of April and it says May, use May, because that means I just switched them over. I'm either was away from the home on the last day of the month, or I started early, or for whatever reason I switched it. So go ahead and use that. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me about, if you're a demonstrator, can you do my paper share? Absolutely. It's a great opportunity to get a little bit of everything. Check it out, try it out, show your customers, but you don't have to buy all the packages if that is not what you want to do. So definitely, I have a lot of demonstrators purchasing it from me, and it also kind of gives you a sneak peek to look and see what you really want, and again, a way to share with your customers and not have to buy all of it. So that will help you. Hello, Jacqueline, Patty, Barbara, Jennifer, Bonnie, and I already said hi to Linda. Welcome. Okay, so I want to show you the card we're making today. I'm super excited. This was one of the other cards that I had told you was one of the options I was going to make. And so we're going to do some coloring. And again, I always take the scraps from when I cut down my pieces, and I adhere them on the inside so I have accent marks in there, or some kind of accent to match the card. And I have been adding this layer on here. My upline did this a lot at the retreat, and I really just like the way it looks. I think it finishes it up just a little bit more. Hi Terry. Hi Steph. Hi Deb. Welcome. So we're going to do some coloring and I'm going to show you about this, but I bet you don't know where I got this paper from because it doesn't really match one of our sets, one of our suites. And this was kind of my whole point to the DSP. So if you do the swap, okay, this one is my hand penned and it's going to have your peach, but I might have to end up, oops, I shouldn't have said that because you don't know about that yet, right? Okay, so forget I said that. Ooh, rewind. Okay, so, oops. What I wanted to show you on the DSP, so these prints, again, match the hand penned. So I've already colored a bunch of them, chose the colors that I want to go with certain sets, the two main flowers and some of the other little flowers I did, because this was so easy with the Stamparatus. I just went to town, kept stamping, and now I have all of these that I can create cards with. I did some different colors, some the same colors. So you can see that there's just a variety of things. Now, with the DSP, you can see that all of these match the stamps. But what I really like that Stampin' Up! Is doing with the DSP now is on the reverse side, which is what we're going to be using today, you've got other patterns that don't necessarily go with this stamp set that you could use with anything. So let's pull out a few. So there's just an option, which is what I did in this card. So even though if you're thinking about doing the paper swap and you're like, oh, I don't really want all of them, they all have different things on the back side that are a little more subtle that you can just use with almost anything. Hi Olivia, hi Arlene, hi Carla. And so don't let the paper hold you back thinking, ooh, I don't want it for that set, I'm not going to get that set. The other side is stunning, and they're all, so far, the ones I've seen are like this. You can do many, many different things with the papers on the other side. So, oh, Susan, no problem. I'm glad you got to watch the replay. So that is what I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit with the DSP, is you can definitely do the other side for different things. And now I just want to glance at these. They just came in the mail. This is the, oops, I threw it away. This is the hand-penned Memories and More card pack. You've probably seen others show it because I forgot to add it on my list. But look at these gorgeous cards. Again, you've got the reverse with a more subtle pattern, but you could add a little purple around that and make that like your main focus. Carpe Diem. And then look how cute that is. I mean, you could even cut this in half and use it with your sentiment. I mean, there's so many different things you can do with these. Some of them just have the print. So pretty. Anyway, there's just all kinds of note things for maybe even a journal or even scrapbooking. Oh, Tashana, no problem. I'm glad you're listening. I'm showing the Memories and More notes thing from the hand penned right now. I am loving it. I just got it in the mail, but I told you I thought Pansies was going to be my #1 pre-order item, but I have to tell you this hand penned is, oh look, you even get little stickers. Happy birthday, thinking of you. There's all kinds of really cute things on here. So anyway, a fun option that your card is pretty much done. Layer this up on something or a couple different, a couple of different patterns or colors in the background, and you have your card. So many fun things in here. Anyway, that's a quick glance at that. So I'm going to have fun. We're definitely going to make some cards with that. Maybe we'll do something like, how fast can we make, 5 cards or 10 cards or whatever with this pack. So we'll do something fun with that because I have 2 of them. So we'll have lots of fun. All right, so we're going to get busy. This card, what I did is I took the soft succulent. I wanted to use old and new. So we're using the new in colors. You're going to notice on the supply list below and on my blog that a lot of the supplies are not available for links because they're mostly new. So there's a few blends and the Simply Succulent stamp set, and that's pretty much it that I was able to link. The rest is new paper. So here I took this piece of paper and I decided the back, I don't want to waste all that paper being hidden in the back. So I took my scalloped contour dies and I just took a larger one and I cut the middle out, and then I should have measured it first. So let's hope that this is going to measure 5 1/4 right here. So I think we should be fine. Keep this for your inside, that for your background. And now we're gonna, we didn't pull out our purple, so let's pull out our purple piece right here. Again, you know, I cut my pieces down to 4 by 6. Oh, today, lucky me, there was a lady selling some of these cases that I saw online, and I bought 10 of them. I'm so excited. So, woohoo. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to cut it down. So my basic 4 5 1/4. So we're going to do 3 3/4 by 5. All right, and then I put a white behind this just to kind of make it pop. So we're going to get some white paper. And I do my normal 5 1/2. And I know I'm just a little out of screen, but I don't think you need to see me cut. I'm just kind of doing this. And then I'm going to go to 4 1/4 like I normally would. So this is my normal size. I'll set that aside. Now we're going to go down just an 8. So we're going to go to 4 1/8 because I just want it slightly bigger. And instead of 5 1/4, we're going to go 5 3/8. 5 3/8. All right, so now we have just that little border. Hi, Dawn. Oh, good, Jennifer. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to get my silicone mat out because let's go ahead and just layer our backgrounds now. We're going to layer this right up here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my adhesive on the back. Dawn, my son lives in Washington. I probably have mentioned that if you've been on here before. But he lives in Washington. We go there often. I'm going at the end of the month. And we have some other family in Washington too. All right, so just layer that up, and you're going to have adhesive maybe come through. But see, now you have the two patterns. This one's got the purple, and this one has the orange and the greens, and that's okay. And now we're going to put this on the white and just have a little bit of a layer there, a tiny bit of a peak of color. And I may have cut down the purple even more, I'm looking, but that's okay. I'm good with this. I just want it to peek out. Sometimes when I do the card, I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever. If I find a piece that's already cut down and I use it, then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll use this one. Like I might have taken a strip off of the purple already for something else. And then I said, oh, let's just go with that size. So let's get this one. I'm going to cut this white down on the right a little bit. It seems like it's a little too big. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Yeah, it's usually, it's funny, it's usually raining, of course. Or it's warm And they used to not have air conditioning, but they do now. So again, I took this out of the middle, so this will become something on a new card. And then we're going to go ahead and attach this here. And I think that's just a fun trim. Just gives it a little bit of some different layers. And we can go ahead and adhere this because everything else is going to be done off of the card, and then we'll attach it at the very end. So let's get this all attached and out of the way. Does anybody watch American Idol? I really like American Idol. I've watched it since season 1, and it's a lot of fun. I like to watch it. Okay, so right now so these are the little pieces that we cut off on the inside. So see, on this one, I did the opposite. It's whatever I had left over. So let's grab a piece. Let's see what size this is. I need to cut this down. We'll do this for the inside. All right. And we'll add those on there, and then we will be done with the inside also. And then we can start coloring. All the measurements and everything will be on my blog. Oh, look at that. That's too short. Oops, oops. All right, let's do the huff technique, which I'm breathing on it and pulling it off. Kind of like when you moisten your stamp. All right, see, it came off no problem. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to add the green. Okay, we're going to trim that so I'm not worried about it. And we're going to add this, but I'm going to add glue because it's so little. Yeah, Carolyn, my kids want me to. My daughter lives in Oregon and my son lives in Washington. Neither place is for me. I love to visit and get out of our heat, but I like our weather. It's hot here. We get a lot of heat in the summertime. It gets very warm, but that's what air conditioning and swimming pools are for. So I'll visit. Now I'm going to put this aside and let it dry because I used liquid on the little strip, and then we'll cut that straight down the side and that'll be ready to go. So we'll just move that over to dry. Hello, Jennifer. All right, so let's get busy. I went ahead and I did my sentiment, and this is out of our Succulent. Here, it's this die right here, which I just love. These label dies here are so fun. So that is already done. We'll set that aside. And there's one other thing. Okay, I got it. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm bringing in my markers. And so what I do is I pull them off my shelf and I put them in here and lay them down because I like mine laying down. And you can see I haven't labeled them all yet. These are my older ones. So what I'm going to do is I just lay them down until my class here, and then I use them. Me too, Jennifer. All right, so here we go. I'm going to move you in a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't get too blurry. Let me stick my paper down here so you guys can. All right. All right, if it gets too blurry, let me know. Hopefully I have the autofocus off, so it should be okay. So what I do with anything that's like a tin or a bucket or anything like that is I like to use my smoky slate, and I start with my darker one. Oh, I need to get my blender. All right, gotta have my blender. I had like 4 projects going at one time, so now it's like, do I have everything out? Okay, so I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm going to use the little, the thin end, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I just kind of brush stroke in. And don't worry about going too close in, okay? Just brush stroke it in. Doesn't have to be exact. They don't have to be right up against each other. I just kind of, and then I do a little more towards the bottom, okay? And then I do the other side. Just same kind of thing. Just kind of come in. So I'm kind of doing it as though the sun is just kind of shining right on the front of the bucket. And like I said, I am not an expert. This is just kind of my thought on how I do this. And now I'm going to take the lighter one and then just kind of go over it. I have glue on my finger. Or it's right here. I can feel my hand sticking. I tried to reuse this because it was still clean, but I have glue on it now. But luckily my grid paper came in today. I'm so happy. All right, let's just take care of this. All right, there we go. So now, and what you're doing is you're just kind of blending the darker now. I just kind of, it mutes it just a little. And I just come past the darker lines a little bit. Okay. And now I take the lighter one, and now I use the brush end, and I just kind of feather it, kind of. It's blending a little, it's softening the colors up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and I just keep going until I get the look that I want. All right, so now I can take my lighter one, my lighter one, and I just kind of still go back and forth. And it's really just all what, you get it to look how you want it. Now you're going to want it to stop and let it dry a little bit, and then just kind of keep looking at it. It'll lighten up, and make sure that that's what you want. So I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. And then what I did is I took the soft succulent, and I did the same thing. I'm going to take the dark on the thin end, and I'm just going to kind of go in on the little accents here. There's like 4 little lines in the middle here. And then on the outside ones, I didn't do that. I used the darker, so I'll show you that in just a minute. So now I'm going to use the light, and I'm just kind of blending the lines. And remember, you don't really have to have white right here. It's going to be lighter because you're using the lighter pen. And then I'm going to take the blender and then just kind of go over the middle just a little bit, so you can see kind of where that light is. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to bring in this light one a little bit because it looks a little darker on the top than on the bottom, and I'm just going to bring that in a little. And your plant's going to hang over that, so don't worry about that right there. But for the top and the bottom, I took the dark and I just went on it, kind of like, when you get galvanized stuff, it's got trim on it that's just kind of a little darker, or the bent metal part on there. So there's that. And I'm going to take the light, and I'm just going to kind of, I missed a little spot here close to the edge. I just want to color that in. I don't like to go too close to the end when I'm doing my brush strokes because I don't want to go outside the lines. So there's that. We're going to put that aside. And let's start on the larger one and kind of get an idea of what we want to do. So what I did is I took the evergreen colors and the soft succulent color. Let me find my, okay. And then I took the dark or the light evening evergreen, and on the bottom here with these pieces, there's little lines right inside each little petal here. So what I did is I took the dark evening evergreen. Now make sure you're looking at your plant. Some of those are not these little pieces down on the bottom, but I just kind of did a little line. And remember, when you're coloring like this, it's not going to look the same as the one you did before. It's kind of all, you can kind of guess the colors you used, or if you write them down, but it's still gonna, they'll be a little bit different. And that's what's so fun and unique about these cards, is they're handmade. Okay, so I just added some little dots on the ones that had dots. Hi, Janet. Okay, and then I'm going to go in, and that was with the light evening evergreen. And now I'm going to go in with the dark soft succulent, and I'm using the little tips for all of these. And I'm just going to go from the base up just a little bit. Just kind of add a little more color. And you're going to think, well, you can't really tell a difference. Well, you will be able to. Once you add all your colors, they layer up. And I'm just kind of tapping. Don't really color because there's so little. So just keep tap, tap, tap. I like to use the darker color first and work my way out to the lighter color, because then the lighter color is what I use to kind of blend it. Okay, so now you can see this looks like little dots all over. Now you're going to take the lightest color of your soft succulent, and I'm going to work my way back in. Remember, you don't want to come out to the tip because it might run outward. But I want to run it inward, which is where the darker pieces are. And again, I'm just tapping. On the bigger ones, I'm going to brush inward. Make sure you don't miss any, because then you'll have a big old white leaf. And just do one flower at a time. Sometimes you can do two if you're going to do them kind of the same color, and you can do the outline or whatever at the same time, but you kind of want to come back in with your second color while the first color is still a little damp, because they dry so quickly, but it kind of helps the colors, the fluid. If you're layering on them and you don't want them to blend so much, then definitely let them dry more. And you don't want to put a bunch of color on. Alright, so there's two of them done, and we're almost done with this. Oh, you guys are welcome. Like I said, I'm no expert. I've done a lot of coloring, and I'm still learning too, because sometimes I'll do it and I'm thinking, oh, that turned out really good, and then I try it again, not so good. So it just kind of, and then when you think it's not good, set it down and walk away and come back. Oh, I hope it's not blurry. Sometimes when I get close, it gets a little blurry, so hopefully not. Okay, so now the other colors, I am using a lot of the new colors. So let's go ahead and start with this flower down here. So what I did is I took the dark Succulent, and I'm saying that's what I did. I'm not sure. Okay, good, Carol. So I'm going to take the dark Succulent and kind of just go on the base. So I'm going to go on the base of my leaves. And then you can tell some of these have like a flipped over petal. So I want to go there too. But you're just kind of going along, and you could just outline it. That also adds a lot because I'm going to do a lot of the purple on this. And make sure this one goes over here, so we want to make sure you're doing just this leaf. Okay, so we're going to outline it. There's accent lines that are towards the outline, so okay, and that one there. All right, hopefully my head's not in the way, guys. Sorry. Okay, good, guys. Thank you. I'm glad it's not blurry. Maybe refresh. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so I went on the outside. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the freesia color. And it's really now you're just kind of playing with everything. So I'm going to take the darker, again, the small end, and I'm just going to go kind of in the middle. Because this one has a lot of purple in it. And sometimes I'll leave a flower and come back if I'm not like super thrilled with it. And then once you add a few more layers, you're like, oh, okay, that looks good. All right, so we're going to do that. And now we're going to add some light. And I'm not going all the way to the tips on this one. And I'm just kind of squiggling the dark just to kind of take those harsh lines out. So you want to go over it and then past it just a little bit. All right. And now I'm going to take the light Succulent and then just kind of go over lightly. And see how the purple pops through. And so you still have a lot of that purple, but it gives it that purpley green look. And you could try this over on the side, you know, use a piece of scratch paper and kind of see what you like. This isn't really a bad idea to do like a little chart, and that way you can say, okay, I used, you know, the light and the dark, and then I used this and that, and kind of get an idea of what colors you like better. Especially when you do a cluster like this, you can do darker and lighter, and then you can decide which you like. If you like the more purple look, the more green look. And so just kind of keep going until you get the look you want. All right, so I like that look. I love the new in colors too, and I really think that this is the perfect way to do it, is with the in colors. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to take the dark soft Succulent again, and I'm going to outline this whole thing. I know some people don't like coloring and some people do. I know some people like watching it and some people don't. I love to watch people color because that's how I learn. And I can see what they did, what they didn't, and I know they're learning too. So it's kind of trial and error, just like it would be if I were at home, but it's nice if I'm watching somebody else and then I know what to and not to do. And there's so many different ways. I think outlining like this is a really good way, especially for beginners that just aren't super familiar with shadowing and shading and all that kind. I still try to do that, but I like this technique because it gives me kind of the colors that I want without a whole lot of work. Okay, right here, there's that, looks like that leaf is flipped. I'm going to go ahead and do that green. And what I also try to do is, even though most of these are green, you'll notice that I try to space them out kind of like you would in a flower arrangement. And so like these are a lot of green, and so I'm going to do some purple in here, and now I'll do this one lighter. So I try not to put the same colors right next to each other if I can help it. Yeah, visual learners, this is a really great way to just kind of, and like I said, I am no expert. I've watched a lot of people that are experts. If you want to see somebody that can really, really color well, look up Sandy Alnock. I think it's Allnock. Alnock. Yeah. She is an amazing Copic colorer, but color artist. But it does a really, really good job. Sandy, I met when I didn't meet her in person, but I did, when my son was in the military, we did Operation Right Home, where we wrote letters, or we sent cards to Sandy. She sorted them out and she sent them off to different Army bases, and she was in touch with captains and all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to take the dark again, and now I'm going to go in on the base, because this is mostly going to be green, so I don't want to use the light. I'm going to use the dark. Okay. So we would send tons and tons of cards to her, and she would separate them all out. This is when my son was in Afghanistan. This is when I really got back into card making after my kids were grown. I learned when my son was, right after my son was born, I started going to classes, and he's going to be 31 in a couple weeks. And then of course I became a baseball mom and a cheer mom, and I was super busy and I didn't craft so much. Mostly for people's birthdays or something I would make a card, but I did do Operation Right Home when he went in the military, and anyway, super busy with that. Trying not to miss everybody's comments. Okay, now I'm going to take the light fresh freesia, and I'm going to start on the ends, and I'm going to come inward. Okay, you don't need a whole lot, but you want to add those purple tips. Don't ever ask me what kind of cactuses these are. I will say, oh, they're pretty green ones with some purple. I don't know if cactuses have purple on the ends or in the middle, or, I mean, I've seen a lot of cactuses, and I have a bunch of succulents, and I say cactuses, but succulents, and I have some that are purple, all purple, which is kind of like how I tried to make this one a little more up there. You could really bring out like Mary Merlot or something, but I didn't want to. I wanted to kind of keep it all in the same in color family. But it's fun. I really liked how the colors came out with the DSP. Alright, so we're just going to color the tips. Alright. Oops, I got a few more in here. Alright, and now we're going to take the light succulent. And I still like to use the thinner end. And now we're going to kind of blend it all. I'm going to blend closer to the bottom, but come up to the top a little bit. Alright, and we're going to do this quick and fast because we're going to use the blender on top of this anyway. So, quick and fast. You don't have to go to the very tip. You're really wanting to blend inside a little bit more. And then I have another, oops, my computer keeps, yeah, Gail O'Neill is also very good. So you're really wanting to blend the bottom where the darker soft succulent is, and then just kind of work your way out. And this is where you're doing all the layering. Okay, now you notice I didn't go all the way to the ends on all of them because I'm going to come in with my light mint macaron. So I'm going to come in with the light mint macaron, and this is where it's going to lighten up. Okay, it's going to lighten up, and it's going to still show you that depth, that purple, the green. So you're just layering up, you're softening the purples. It doesn't have to be super vibrant everywhere. So this is kind of a super light color, okay? So you're just kind of blending it. So don't worry about putting other colors on that you're not quite sure of. I mean, you could probably even take the soft gray, but I didn't want it to be a gray, so this color worked out perfect. Okay, so see how light that is? Now you could come back in and you could add a little bit of purple again. It's all what you want. See how the purple is really popping now, but it's still a subtle purple. So don't be afraid to try it. If it's something that you're like, ooh, I don't know about that, try it on one leaf, pull it to the side. I didn't do this yesterday, but I kind of wanted to add a little more of the purple to it. And the purple, when you do it on paper, it kind of looks like a neon color. Thanks, Judy. Oh, Heather, that's awesome. All right, so there we go. I'm going to add a little bit in the inside. And there, that one's done. So see how that one's much lighter than the other. Oops, wrong one. I want this one. I'm going to kind of blend those in a little bit. All right, so I'm good with that one. Now we're going to take the evergreen, and I'm going to take the lighter one, and we're going to go down on these lines, and I'm going to outline it. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I go through and I outline, and then other times I don't. I do shading. So it's just kind of whatever, you know, you're in the mood to do. I kind of go back and forth. It's kind of like, you know, it seems like when you're making cards, it's like all of a sudden you're embossing everything, you know, with embossing powder. And then all of a sudden you're using embossing folders. You know, you don't use the same technique all the time, but you kind of get in a rut after a little bit. And then you change it up, and then you start doing something else. So you could be shading, you could be outlining. There's just, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. And the succulents are a perfect way to learn to do some coloring. I'm doing a little bit of just shading in the middle. Think about that, that's kind of where the shadows would be. down on the base. And now I'm going to come in with the light. Oops, must have had my Amazon delivery. My light, soft succulent. The other day somebody kept saying simply succulent, so then I was thinking, am I saying it wrong all this time? And now you can just kind of go over it all because you are blending these darker lines. Oh, good, Tashana. So what is your guys' number one thing that you've been playing with if you already have your items? Or what is the number one thing you want to purchase as a customer that you've been watching people play with? There are so many amazing things. All right, I think I'm going to stick with that, but I'm going to use the light now. Oh, Judy, thank you. That's my hope, is I want people to learn. And it's funny because there's a lot of people that like particular brands and don't like particular brands. But to me, it's like I have no problem watching somebody that doesn't do Stampin' Up! Because it's still a technique. You're still going to learn a lot of stuff from somebody. I don't care what they're using. Bonnie, I start at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. And it is now 2:49. So I'm in California. I'm on Pacific time. So now I'm going to take the blender and just kind of lighten it up a little bit. Not a lot, because I'm fine with the color. It's different than these, and that's my main concern. So I'm just going to lighten that up a little bit. Now I'm going to take the darker, and even though these three look the same, I'm going to do the bigger one a little darker. Yeah, this is the dark. And so yeah, I think you learn from everybody. So I have no problem. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, no, I don't use that, or I don't use that. But to me, you can still get technique and stuff out of that and learn. All right, so I'm just outlining this. I'm going to do a little darkening right in this center again, just like I did before. I did the stem, the darker. And now I'm going to do on those lines. All right. And now I'm going to use the light. Oh, I know, Tashana. I can't wait to get more DSP. Ooh, I have something that I bought that I had for a project I did way back when. It's a mixed media project. But I bought it to go with something that I have that I'm going to do. So you guys will have to stay tuned. So I bought an outside item to use with a project. And so I can't wait to show you. It'll be coming up very soon. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's see, let's try the dark macaron. Let's try that. Yeah, I'm going to go over with the dark mint macaron over this, because we want this to be kind of a darker purple color, right? So I can still see the purple. But sometimes like I'll be doing something like this and then I'll be like, oh, I messed it up. I don't like this, let's say. I would set it aside and then come back to it, because a lot of times, now see, I'm going to switch to the small because I've got this tip and I want to go inward. I don't want it to bleed out. So a lot of times, you know, sometimes when you're doing stuff and you're like, oh, I don't know, I don't like this, or you're working on it and then you're just like unhappy with what you did, don't be discouraged. I've pulled stuff out of the trash before thinking, you know, that wasn't so bad, I could fix that, you know, the next day, and then it comes out just fine. Okay, I'm going back in with the dark. I'm just adding a little bit of accents. I'm doing the lines. I colored some of those bottom petals. I'm going to do the stem darker. These are down lower. I'm going to darken those up a little bit because they're under the other ones. So just think about like where your shade is, that kind of thing. All right, I'm good with that. Now I want to bring in some of the darker evergreen. You know, Janet, the DSP with all the trees. Let me just show you this really quick. I did the die with the tree. This is the back side. So the back side of all the trees you can use for grass, you can use for the sky. There's a lot of different things on the back side of the DSPs. So make sure you look at those because there's a lot of things you can use those for too. All right, so I'm going to do the dark, not too much. I'm going to do the stem. I don't want too much because this is really dark. So I'm just going to add a little bit. And I think instead of the light evening evergreen, I'm going to go with the dark succulent. And let's just see what that looks like, because I don't want it to be too dark. And I still think that's a little dark, so I'm just going to add a little bit, because it's going to add that darker shade. And then I think I'm going to go with the light. Yeah, so far, oops, wrong end. So far, I love all the paper. Even the host set, oh my gosh, I filled up, so when I loved it, chopped it, and I cut it to 4 by 6, I have 2 full plastic, these, completely full of that one package. So remember how in Good Taste, I think that had 24 sheets of paper? This has 48. So it's like double the size. It has so much paper, and it has all these different patterns, and the back side's all black and white. So again, you can use that for so many different things. All right, so now you can still see my marks on there. So I'm going to bring in the light mint macaron just to blend it a little bit. I can bring in the blending tool too, but this one's really light and it will lighten it up a bit and blend those up. And then I'll give it a minute because it tends to lighten and blend a little bit when it's by its lonesome. All right, now this one I'm going to do light first. Let's just play with this one. We're going to do light, and then I'm just going to add some accent marks to it. So this is the light mint macaron. Oh, I was so happy I got my grid papers today. I thought I had plenty left. No, I did not. So I borrowed some. Thank goodness. So I'm making those all 3 different colors, but I'm good with that because I just want it to look a little different. I did that here too. This one was really dark. This one was lighter. It's just kind of all in what, you know, what colors you want. So again, I'm just kind of adding. I didn't really go on the outline of those. And now I'm going to take, let's go with the dark mint macaron now. We're almost done with this one. Oh, if you guys are demonstrators, I just got my demonstrator catalog today. So I had my on tour one, so I already had that one. But I did get my demonstrator one today. And yeah, so now I feel like I can let one go and get it bound and spiral bound and all that good stuff. So yay. When they say they want to keep it and it's the only one you have, no. I thought it would only take them a little while. One place said, oh, you can get it back tomorrow, and the other place said next week, and I was like, no, I'm good. Okay, so there we go for that one. And again, you can add more purples, you can add, you know, whatever, like this one here. I think I'm going to lighten it up and make it pop with a little more purple. So I'm just going to color it in a little more, just to make it a little more purpley. So you can just kind of now look at it and think, you know, you want a little more color to it, or okay, so I'm feeling good about that. And now we've got these two. Yeah, see, I had somebody else that did theirs really quick, and but our Office Depot is closing, and I'm going to do this with dark. This one's going to be with the dark. So the one day they told me that they had to send it out, and then the next day or 2 days later when I called to see what their schedule was like, no, the first time they said the next day I could get it, but now they're sending everything out because they're getting rid of their equipment because they're closing. The one that's closest to me. So that was kind of a bummer. All right, now I think I'm going to do the light succulent, and let's just see what that looks like. And I'm going to go almost all the way up with the purple, or with the soft succulent, but not all the way, because we're still going to blend that in a bit. So I don't want to cover the purple twice. That makes sense. We'll do it with a lighter color and blend it. I'm going to go up a little bit, but not all the way. Yes, so I love American Idol. My favorite so far, and I know they're just beginning, and I hate to say it before they're down to like they're 10 or whatever. Oh yeah, I have to spiral down find mine. That's just the way to do it. I really like Grace. If you guys watch that, Grace is one of my favorites right now. She is so good. Oh, you know what? I didn't put any coloring in the inside, so I want to add a little bit of shading. See how it just didn't have a lot of character right there because there was no shading. And sometimes I go up the side like this when I do the shading, and sometimes I just do like right in the, you know, the bottom of the, oops. All right, now we're just going to kind of blend those. All right, now that that looks a little darker, we're going to bring in the light mint macaron, and we're just about done with this. Oh, Bonnie, thank you. I appreciate that. I am so glad you guys are learning something. I mean, obviously my goal is to get customers. That's kind of my job, and that's what I like. That's what I need to keep my business going. But I also love sharing what I do and hope that other people can learn, or at least don't be intimidated to try it. I mean, if all else fails, you start again, or it's a background or something. So don't be intimidated by not giving it a try. All right, so this one, I think we're going to do more purple. And I'm going to do a lot of purple on this one. I'm going to do the light fresh freesia. I really like this color. Okay. Now the polished pink is the one color and the pale papaya that I did not use, but you could definitely change your color theme and maybe change up your backgrounds and change your succulent colors, because you could definitely do that with something different. I'm going to try the dark mint macaron. Why not? Let's see what it does. Okay, I like it. I like it. I don't think I used this one before on this look. And I think I'm going to color, yeah, I'm going to cover up a lot of the purple with it, kind of have it blend in. So see how I'm kind of blending it out to where the colors are. And now I'm going to take my, I think I'm going to do my dark soft succulent. Now we're almost done with this. Now this is a lot of coloring, huh? I'm just going to color those in. Okay. And now we'll take this soft mint and color it. We should be good. Yeah, that's where I was going to do is Office Depot. Tishana, you're so sweet. I'm trying to read comments, you guys, and not miss too many. Thanks, you guys. Yeah, no pressure. All right. I told you guys I'm involved with that swap locally, and I sent those really cute fancy fold cards, and we do like a Zoom meeting later in the month, and we all talk about our cards. So all right, so I think those are too good. Those are good. They're close to each other, but that's all right in color. Yay, so our coloring is done. Oh, you guys are sweet. I don't know, our Staples closed, so I don't know if good. I hope you guys do some more coloring. It's so fun. It's relaxing. Like I said, if you don't have your mojo that day and you're like, I don't know what I want to do, look, you also get in this die, you get the background die, but you also get, we need the big one, and look, you get 2 of your flowers that you need to cut out. And I already did the label, the sentiment, so we'll leave that. Let me get my machine up here. And I know it's on the paper, and I hate when I put it on the paper, but it might slide a little bit because of that. Oh, Diane, that's good. I hope I don't put you to sleep. See, you guys, Jennifer, you guys are all talking about I'm costing you, but you guys are demonstrators. Oh, no, I totally get it. I totally get it. It's so whenever I used to do, you know, not be a demonstrator, and I'd watch somebody and they had a link below, I'm like, oh, yep, need that. Click. Oh, yep, I want that. Watching people is just so enabling. It just makes you be like, okay, did it to me again. Gotta have it. All right, so I know, well, we're not coloring, so let me back up a little bit. Okay, get my colors over here. All right, so now we have our two little guys. You don't want your dies too close together, and I should have thought about that when I put them on here, but I'm looking okay so far. I know you guys can't see. You just don't want them too close. You don't want your dies to go over each other. And even though I'm an experienced stamper, sometimes they will go over each other. So be really careful. All right, so I know I'm holding this down. Those dies are not going anywhere because this machine's so amazing. You can roll it with one hand and hold on to this with the other. Yeah, Diane, like I said, when sometimes I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I want to do or what I'm going to work on. And what I'll do is I'll stamp some images just like this one. And then I'll just sit here and play with colors and try and figure it out. Luckily, with these new end colors, it was so easy. I didn't even really have to think about it. I just kept pulling out colors and playing with them. And they worked out great. So let me get you back here. All right, so we have our dies. Let me put them away so I don't lose them, because I will. Somebody had asked me how do I keep track of dies. This is it. I put them back as fast as I can. I don't think I've lost a die. It has been misplaced until I clean my desk with that very day, but this is why I try to put them right back on. All right, so now we have our cute little bucket. Well, I didn't cut that very straight. Look at that. So we're just going to fix it. I think I was focusing on my flowers. So I'm just going to do a quick little... I know you guys can hear my vacuum going out there. The other day I heard it on the video and I was like, what the heck? And then I realized what it was. Okay. It's not going to have a whole lot of white because one side didn't, and I kind of... So now that's fine. I'm good with that. We're going to bring our card in. So now I just kind of play with my placement, and I kind of wanted my succulents to go up. I didn't really like them over, but you could, you know, kind of think about where you want them. I just think they're going to go upward. But I like them up high because I want to see this here. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my dimensions on the back of my base and my succulent. So let me see what I've got over here. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Tashana. All right, I got a lot of minis and a lot of pieces. So here we go. All right, so let's put our bucket right across the top and one of these here on the bottom. All right, so there's our bucket. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it go sideways, and I'll show you why. We have this beautiful new baker's twine. So I'm going to pull out the... I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's gray granite. Yeah, I'm almost sure. Well, it's the gray one. We're going to use the gray one. And we're going to make ourselves a tiny, tiny bow. So I'm just going to do a tiny bow. So you know me, I do it on the ends of my fingertips. You could do it on a bow maker or whatever if you have it. I do, but I'd have to pull it out. So we're just going to make a tiny one. You guys have seen my bow video. So this, by making it smaller, I'm just pulling it to my fingertips, which is a little harder to get the string through because you want this little, right? And then you're going to come back and go under. So it's the same exact thing, except I'm doing it on the ends. Okay? So now I have my little bow. Oops. All right. There we go. Now I'm going to take a glue dot and we'll trim it when we're done. Oh, thanks. This is called Summer Shellabration. Shellabration. It's a dip, and it's by a company called Sparkle & Company. That's when I was trying to do my nails on my own. Now I take it to my salon and have them use my product because I bought some, but I had a terrible reaction to it, the liquids that you have to use. My friend has no problem. Me, nope. And I don't have allergies to anything, but apparently I do to that stuff because I couldn't breathe. Oh, it was terrible. I was coughing. All right, so I'm going to put just a little bow there. And I'm going to just cut. Oh, these are my scissors that I messed up. Let me see. I haven't cleaned them yet. I used them with glue. I know, bad girl. All right. I'm working on so many projects for my class on Saturday. Okay, so now we're going to just put this on here. And then what I do is, like I said, I'm going to just kind of put my succulents like right there. So we'll add those on. Let's go ahead and add our bucket. Think about this. You don't want this to go over too far, so you want to make sure that your bucket is kind of inward some. And I like to put it down on the bottom like it's sitting on the ground, right? Not floating up in the air. Oh, Nola, no problem. You can watch the replay. All right, so, but we did miss you. So let's add our pieces that we've cut all over here. I always tend to use more of my scraps because I just want to use them up. And I'm going to put glue on the bottom down there. So I may not need this one. I might need to move this one up. So I'm just going to take it off carefully. And I'm going to move it up right there. All right. Because you know if you try to stick it back on your thing, it does not work very well. Oh, you know what, Carol, what I use is I use my eraser. So I'll take my eraser and be careful because you don't want to cut yourself. So I'll take my eraser and I just go outward. See how that just came right off? And then sometimes I use my hand sanitizer. I'll put it on a baby wipe and put it on if it's really gooey, and then I'll do that. But my gum eraser thing, whatever this is, it comes off perfectly. Like there's nothing left on it. It works really good. But be very, very careful. I don't go back and forth because number one, I don't want it to cut my eraser or me. So I just kind of go back and forth like that. I mean like straight out, and it works really, really well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I add a little bit of glue, and it may not go on the bucket, but that's okay. It may kind of be hanging in the air, and it's all right because it'll dry just fine. But I have my little bow, so I'm going to turn this guy just a little bit. And so you're going to be able to tell that this one right here is not going to be on the bucket, and it's okay. It'll dry. And then that way you can kind of bring your bow up or do whatever you want with your bow, and your succulents will just dry to the bucket. But you can still see the green, so you can still see a little bit of fun right there. And then I take these two guys, turn them over, and then I just take one large one, and I just place these wherever you want. Think about your sentiment. So we're going to do that first, actually. So the sentiment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut like this. And I'm going to go right up the side here. Okay. And I think I'm going to put one right in the middle just to be safe. Where's the ones I cut? Right here. Take one of these and just put it right here because you're getting close, but you're not that close. All right. So remember, it's going to be on the outside because you're going to put glue on this side. I know, Jennifer, that was a bummer. Hi, Lisa. All right, so now we're going to just turn this over and kind of find a place where you want it. I didn't want to cover all this up. I didn't want to cover all that up. And so I just kind of covered the one up. I was okay with that. And part of that. And I wanted to see the purple over here, so just kind of align it right there. And now I took this guy. Again, I didn't want to cover any of the three up. I actually took these two leaves right here and I just kind of put them there. So now you can still see these two and this. And then this one, there's some white space right here. And I just kind of put that right there. Now you'll notice the big leaf is up and the big leaf is over. That way they're not identical. Just change them up a little bit so that you can, it kind of looks like maybe different flowers. They're not, but it kind of looks like they're not exactly the same if they're not exactly facing the same way and if they're not exactly the same colors. Change them up just a bit. This one's a little darker than this one. So there you go. We have our inside that we need to trim up, and it's going to go a tad smaller than 4 because that one little piece, but that is perfectly okay. So now I've got my inside. Yes, I have seen the eraser on Amazon. Now I could have, and I might have on this one. It's too late now, but yeah. See, I put the freesia around there. Oh, this is the Highland Heather actually. Oh, you know what? Let me check my colors. If I used freesia or Highland Heather, now I'm questioning myself. I think I used freesia, but the paper was Highland Heather. Yeah. So that's okay. But it still looks really pretty with the accent on there with the different colors. But this was the difference, is adding the panel on the inside, which I really like. So there you go. So that is the Simply Succulents. Here, I'll cover Sandy's name up. The Simply Succulents and then the Potted Succulents dies. And remember, you get the background one, and then you get these really cool labels that match on the words. Like You've Been on My Mind, or Thanks fits there, this fits there. So they've got some really, really cute labels. I love when the stamp sets have great sentiments and the die sets have the labels that you can use with them. So I hope you guys liked that. That was a lot of fun. So can you guys guess what's going to be the next one? Because I gave you a choice of 3 different stamp sets on my Facebook page. And so I did the first one on Sunday, which was this one, the birds. 3 is a bird. I did that one on Sunday. Oops, where's my camera? And then today we did succulents, and then I have another one that we will do on Sunday. And I might actually move that one out a bit because it's more coloring. That's 3 coloring in a row, so I might move that one out just a bit. Oh, I hope you guys do practice your coloring. So I would love to have you guys join me for my paper share. It is 148 6x6 sheets of paper for $55. And that is shipped to you. Okay, so that is the shipped price. US only, of course, for this. On my blog at the top, it says events and classes. That is where you will find the information for the swap. I'd love to have you guys. We have a lot of people. It's going to be a lot of fun. So all of the new stuff is what I am cutting up for you. So if it's a 12 by 12 package, which I don't have right by me, I will cut it in fours. Boom, boom. And you will get one of the quarters of each package. So if it has 12 sheets in it, you're going to get 12 sheets, but it won't be 12 by 12. It'll be 6 by 6. And you will be dividing the price with everybody. I charge for the paper and for shipping, and that's it. So that, oh, and tax, of course. So what I did is I got all the new ones. Now there are some specialty ones that might have 4 sheets or 12 sheets, 4 of each or whatever. You're going to get the same as everybody else. It'll be divided equally. So if it's a package that has only 2 of each 4 different ones or whatever, then you're going to get one of each of them. Somebody else will get one of each, and I'll buy 2 packs and divide that by 4. So it'll all work out. Love the picture on your blog. Oh, thank you, Bonnie. Okay, so if you guys would like my video, I'd really appreciate that. That does help my YouTube channel. And subscribing. When you subscribe, don't forget on the bottom, when you click on the bottom of the picture, there's a little purple square, a logo kind of thing. Click on that, subscribe will pop up, hit that. It'll ask you for all or promotion or promote or something like that. Hit all. You will get a notification if I go live, and you'll get a notification if I just post. So either way, you will get that notification, and that will help. But after you hit subscribe, there's a little bell there. Click on that. So subscribing, you will be able to go and see my stuff. It'll be on your list of subscription pages. But if you hit the bell, that's how you get notified. So the notification is different than subscribe. I've had a few people ask and said, I'm subscribed, but I'm not getting notification. So that is the one thing you want to do, is make sure you hit the bell. And then also, I think your YouTube has to be open if you want it to pop up on your screen. Otherwise, I think you get an email saying that I'm going live. So I hope that helps. Janet, I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot, you guys, just by liking my page, coming back and commenting, and sharing's huge. So if you guys would do that, I'd really appreciate it. If you guys want to, go to my blog, marciebeseckerdesigns.com, and you will get a notification the following day when I do a live. It's actually going to, well, actually, I changed it. It's kind of like Wednesdays and Mondays, the day after I go live. If I go in between, it'll catch up on Wednesday or Monday. Bye, Bonnie. I'll see you Sunday. Thanks to all of the people that's way late for you. I appreciate you watching. And so that way it will, lost my train of thought. Oh, so you'll get a notification of my blog post, which will be a link to this video or whatever video is pertaining to that post. Also, there's some other links in there that you might want to get some information from. Right now, the clearance rack has added some more items, so you might want to go check that out. There's some really good things in there. And of course, I have other things like Stampin storage on how I do all my magnets and my shelving and my ink pads and my punches and all that good stuff. So hope that helps. Thanks, Olivia. All right, everybody, I hope you try some coloring. It doesn't have to be the succulents if you don't have them. Pull some flowers out or some animals or whatever you want and give it a try. I hope you do. Let me know how it goes. Keep practicing. That's just the best way to do it. And I will see you guys on Sunday, if not before. I won't do coloring Sunday. I think I'm going to put that off a little longer and we'll do something else fun. I have a great idea. Hope to see you then. Bye.